What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 93, EZPZ Podcast, creeping up on that 100. Eventually, we're going to have some cool shit for you on episode 100, though, including a giveaway.
I think that you're getting like a little ahead of yourself. That's like 2 months away, bro.
Yeah. January is a good month for me. I usually am back at my routines, and I'm feeling pretty good. Workouts are really strong.
Yeah, true.
You know, the holiday slump.
Dude, I have a holiday slump for like 4 months.
I have bad winter depression. I just like shell up and don't do anything. But...
Yeah, I hear you. Joining me this week, Trey.
Hello.
As you can hear, that was Trey, and of course, joining me this week, Nick.
What's up? How's it going, guys?
There's Nick. What's up, y'all? We got a good show for you. We're going to talk about those Google walkouts. We're going to recap our Halloween fun. Talk about maybe some new show that came out this week. Heard about it. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
Netflix exclusive. Woo.
Netflix is killing it, man.
I'm kidding. I'm talking about the Totally Gamescast.
Oh, shit.
Soon to be on Netflix.
I thought you were actually serious.
I was like, I must have missed
a
topic.
I'm on the same page. All right, yeah. Throwing a curveball here.
I was just like nodding my head like, I know what you're talking about, Sean. I know what you're talking about.
Trump used the Game of Thrones font likeness in a tweet this week. But first, Nick's got some news on our little buddy.
What's
His
up?
words exactly.
Starman, the little dude in the convertible that Elon Musk threw into space for no apparent reason, just passed Mars.
It passed Mars. So how long, do you know when he threw that into space? The day?
Wasn't that earlier this year? It was earlier this year, middle of the year, I think.
That's not very long, I feel like. I don't know if a human is the same as the Starman dude that he put in there. Like,
right.
If it could, like, handle the speed and whatnot. But
yeah. I don't even remember if this had a purpose, didn't it? Wasn't it just kind of like...
Hey, there's a Tesla in space. First car to be in space,
right.
I think.
Just to kind of show his power, you know? Like
he doesn't care about anything. He's so tight. I love that.
He's so tight.
He is. I'm going to get that pic. I have a picture saved on my desktop from when he was on that Joe Rogan Experience, smoked weed, and I have that. I'm going to get that printed out.
That made him like
framed.
Your top... Is he in your top 5 for like favorite dudes?
On
Tim Ferriss is in there.
You mean on that have been a guest on the podcast?
No, dude, just like your favorite dudes.
Oh,
because you got like
he's
Joe
top
Rogan.
25.
He's top 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
Favorite dudes
top
like
25? Jesus Christ.
Favorite dudes.
I don't even have 20 favorite dudes in my entire life, bro.
Entire life.
Because I got friends,
celebrities,
and some family.
No, I'm talking celebrities.
Okay. So Keith Buckley is up there. Tom York, Joe Rogan, of course. Tim Ferriss.
Yeah. So he's not even top 10.
I
Elon?
don't think so. He's top 25. He's top 25.
All right.
Yeah, no, I've got
Jim Carrey. I love Jim
Carrey's in my top 25.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Lydia and I are probably going to watch The Mask today. It's
we watched the YouTube show yesterday. Like, we were playing...
That's one I haven't seen.
We got this new board game or whatever that's like a... You ever hear about Settlers of Catan or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
It's like Rivals of Catan, which is... It's like a 2-person card game. It's really fun, and we were watching Truman's Show in the background while we learned to play that. But
nice.
It's pretty fun.
That's pretty tight. I love Jim Carrey. I've loved almost every movie he's been in except for that Numbers movie. But I didn't even hate it.
That one wasn't that bad.
It came out right after Eternal Sunshine.
Right.
It was like another series. So we did back-to-back series, which was like unheard of. Well, Eternal Sunshine's unheard of for him to have done at that time.
Well,
and
was Rocket Man before or after Eternal Sunshine?
That was like 90s, I thought.
Yeah, and Rocket Man was really serious. Like, I mean, like, or Man on the Moon. Not Rocket Man. Man on the Moon. Okay. Rocket Man was a really shitty comedy where this, like, idiot got sent to the moon and was, like, farting into the tubes, and they were, like, holding the tubes because they were, like, connected.
Oh
like, I don't want to smell the fart!
Oh, my God.
I totally remember that movie. Just
sounds amazing.
That scene.
All right. I guess I know what I'm going to rent tonight.
Yeah, get Rocket Man.
All right.
Elon Musk, though, I mean, are you guys... if I had all the money in the world, I would get a Tesla. That would be my pick for a car.
Actually, I've been seeing more and more Teslas around town lately.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure. And it's crazy to think that person either has a $1,800 car payment a month.
Right.
Or they had $60K at
bought it out, yeah.
Or $35, $40K.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I saw a P100D of the Model X, which is the one I would want, and it's the P100D version, all souped out, is like $140K. And I saw one, I was like, oh my god, it can fit 7 people in it. It looks like a hatchback.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about
that. Hatchback? That's pretty cool.
It looks like a hatchback crossover.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit like smaller, and of course it has like, it's just better built, so like two Sean's maybe could fit in the far back, but probably not. More like two, I don't know, Shayna's, like someone's a lot smaller.
Okay, all right.
But still, 7 people for like just a little car, little dude.
A little dude.
But anyway, I would get a Tesla. Or obviously, I mean, I would get a brand new Mazda, but I love Mazda.
I would just get an El Camino.
What?
Hey,
Your
let's
dream
go.
car?
Yeah, like a nice old El Camino that runs well, like and it's just like
that was taken
black
care
and
of.
pimp. Like that's what I'm talking about.
American muscle.
Yeah, dude. Like just like I like older shit, like and for the most part, and like new cars kind of look like shit. Like they just don't look as like beast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't know what an old car is capable of. Like those Teslas. To kind of quote Sin City, they all look like electric razors. So like,
That's funny.
Right on. What about you, Nick? Dream car?
Dream car? I don't know.
Just for S&Gs.
Just for shiggles.
Shiggles.
I never really had a favorite car per se, but like when I was growing up, my dad's favorite car was like a 57 Chevy. It was another one of those like just like old muscle cars.
But you guys would obviously get these gutted and like put newer parts in because brakes were shit in the 50s.
Oh yeah,
you didn't have seatbelts.
A lot of things were shit.
My whole thing is I don't give a shit, and like I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do. So like if the car that I happen to buy has new brakes in it, fine.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna go out of my way and be without a car for like a day or something. Like, you know.
You don't leave the house for a couple days at a time.
No, I know, dude, and I'm just not gonna be without a car.
Like, you're good.
Right on. Well, let's move on. Let's recap just really quickly about our Halloweens because I want to hear about Excision. And the last episode of EZPZ Podcast was that special episode where we were going right into Jawbreaker. So I just want to hear though about how was Excision here in Des Moines? How's the hangouts in Des Moines?
Excision was okay. It was at Val Air Ballroom, so the sound was really bad.
Really?
It was super quiet.
That's like really echoey place. Like
Yeah. So it just sounded like they didn't have like the speakers all the way up or something. It was super weird. Like you could it's like one of those shows where you could like hear the conversations around you really well. So it was like what the
that's
fuck?
like gotta be the worst for dubstep.
No,
dude.
it's terrible. Yeah. It's not like unless you're like super close up to the stage, like that was really bad.
You could hear people talking around you. How does that happen? I hate that.
With a huge show where you're supposed to have like all these walls of bass and
Yeah, I've been to one rave and I couldn't like I was in the back and we were yelling. Like,
right.
really,
But that's kind of how that's how
in Puerto Rico, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like you have
and that
this
venue was
screen.
ginormous.
It was
dude.
huge, dude.
Yeah.
It was like 4, 5, 6, 7 Valor ballrooms
Dude.
all packed in.
Oh,
one,
right,
dude.
yeah.
Like,
Hell yeah.
So how about the openers? Let's start with that.
So Dion Timmer he's kind of like Excision's little protege. He was really good. He was kind of one of my like EDM bucket list artists. I haven't seen him yet, so that was cool to say I've seen him. His set was cool overall. Just being there and hanging out with everybody. Laura was there, Andrew was there, Luis and Chantel, and then Shayna.
Friends of the show.
So we had a close knit group because a lot of people Caleb was in Texas or something like that. Caleb and
Sydney and Caleb were at Freaky Deaky in Dallas.
Okay, and then you guys were in
Milwaukee. Yeah.
So the
where was
bare
the after
bones.
party at?
So the after party was pretty tight actually. It was at a CrossFit gym.
What?
Damn. You guys get swole?
Oh yeah, dude. Did a couple sets. It was
Did they have that stuff guarded off? Because I feel like drunk people would go.
They had like caution tape all over the bars
Okay.
and shit. Like, don't touch.
It's like, here, I'm going to take a couple tabs of LSD, pump off a couple squats real quick, and we'll be good to go.
I would love to see what would happen if someone tried to get a workout in while they're like tripping balls.
So what? I just don't get this. How is it at a CrossFit gym? That's
Someone must have
weird.
known someone that like let them use it because it was supposed to be a warehouse rave. The building is it's on Keogh Way, right across from that new Quick Trip that they just built.
Okay, yeah.
It used to be like a old body shop or something.
Yeah.
And they turned it into a CrossFit gym.
Okay.
So like the setup was cool. Like you walk in and there's one giant room where you like got your tickets and they had beer and then they had like a couple of vendors even and then like some live painting. So it was actually pretty dope.
How were beer tickets and beer prices
it was
at
like,
both venues?
It was like so at Valor, it's just regular Valor prices, $7 for like a mixed drink or something like that, $6 for a beer. So it was like not insane. And then at the after party, it was like just $5 even for beer. So that was nice. But then after you go into the first room there, then you go into another second room, which is another bigger, just wide open room. And that's where they had the actual stage and everything going. And it was AT which is, they've like done stuff with Bass Nectar before. So
cool.
They're a pretty big name too.
That's cool that it wasn't somebody that didn't play already throughout the night. So it was like a brand new artist. They flew in, somebody, somebody.
Which I noticed they've been doing a lot with these after parties. They'll bring in other artists that weren't actually on the lineup, which is cool because it makes you want to like go.
Yeah.
It's not like
I got
just
a
see these guys.
text from my coworker saying he was hanging out with some
dude.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I
met him.
I got a picture file that never fully sent because I'm sure like the signal in there was probably. Oh pretty bad.
We took a picture together and we sent it to you.
Oh,
it's your buddy with the long hair. Yeah. We ran into each other. He was dressed as Post Malone.
Yeah. He's done that 2 years. He looks really legit.
He looks like a really good Post Malone.
It's the last year that he can do Post Malone though because he shaved his head and I guarantee he won't.
Oh yeah.
Or cut his hair off.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how was AT Aliens? Anything crazy? Like any cool songs or anything?
I don't know. Nothing too notable. It was pretty late in the night at that point,
right.
So we were all on a pretty good level of buzz. So we were just all kind of hanging out in the back more than anything, just chilling and vibing.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. I'm glad
good times.
That happened. I mean, at a CrossFit.
You called me when we were trying to get our Uber. I don't know if you remember this.
Oh yeah, I remember a FaceTime or two.
So you guys were at these shows at the same time. So you were at Jawbreaker while this was going down.
Yeah.
And I saw a picture of you at Jawbreaker, and you were looking pretty inebriated. Like you looked like a hot mess. Let's just be honest here.
Anytime we got face makeup going, it's gonna be all over the place.
That's honestly probably what it is, more than anything. More than like your stance or anything. It was just the smeared face makeup.
Yeah,
that's great.
It was my first time back to drinking for Sober October. So
well, yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, honestly. But that's funny.
Yeah, it was a good time. We definitely did FaceTime though. Shayna called me a couple times. And then eventually when we were back in the hotel, I think you guys were probably back at.
We had just gotten back home.
Yeah. At home. So you guys went back to your guys' place after? Okay.
After the after party, yeah.
Yeah.
So
cool.
What are these after parties like? What are they even like? So is that like at the same venue usually, and then they like just open and like play music and like open up the bars, or what?
So they're usually at a different location. So like for the 515 Alive, the after party was at like Woolies or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So like they just select music venues around the area usually. I mean, it's almost never like a after party at the same venue. Even at like Somerset's after parties, it was just a one stage would have it. But for these more local shows or like music festivals like 515 Alive, those after parties will be at like one will be at Woolies. Sometimes there'll be one at a smaller one at Vaudeville, lower ticket prices and stuff like that.
Usually in the downtown area.
So then is
centralized.
The artists that had already played the initial show that are like DJing the after party, or is it just like someone playing music in a non-DJ sense, or like what's going on?
Right. So usually it's like the last couple of ones they're bringing in new different DJs that weren't on this like lineup before. So
smaller DJs from like local shit usually, or
they've been actually doing pretty well because like the AT Aliens people, they are like they've. Not that it would mean much to you, but they've like done songs with like Bass Nectar and stuff, which is a huge name.
No, I know Bass Nectar. I know Bass Nectar songs. So,
yeah. So for them to be like collaborators with them, and then them to just like randomly come up for the after party was actually a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then like the last time there was an after party, they had this dude named Peekaboo, which is a really like big up and coming artist. So they've actually been bringing some pretty decent names, for these after parties.
Yeah, for sure. So Jawbreaker was clearly...
Yeah, I know. I need to listen to the Jawbreaker pre-party episode.
So that was Brandon, Mitch, and I pre-party in the hotel while like Lydia was getting ready and Alex eventually like got to our hotel. Uh-huh. And so Jawbreaker overall was at the Milwaukee Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was a 6-7 hour drive, which was pretty brutal on the way home, but not too bad on the way there. You're excited.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it was Zed. Well, there was a couple openers that we didn't actually see. On Saturday night, Sunday night, both nights, we didn't really see the openers. I guess we kind of did on Sunday, but I don't even remember their names, to be honest with you. But it was Zed that played, and then Louis the Child, then Grizz.
Right.
And I mean, I know I was pretty drunk, but I do remember it was insane. Like, I was dancing my butt off.
Oh, yeah.
Josh McClain ended up meeting up with us.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, dude. So Josh
MTG Pro, Josh McClain, shout out, bro.
He is a pro. He was.
Yeah, I know. That's hilarious.
He was on the gravy train.
That's comedy at the show with you guys.
Yeah. So he's pretty big into EDM. He was actually at 515 Alive 2017. He came to Brandon's after party.
I don't claim to know the dude very well. I just know that he's like big into magic in the local.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this, but I grew up with him. Like,
yeah,
100%.
Sure.
Like, we were in diapers crawling to each other's back through my backyard to his backyard. Hung out together. So yeah, we were big time friends growing up, and then lost connection with. Just like you would with most people especially after I quit Magic, and then just reconnected through EDM and through music, really. But he's always pretty much liked the same music as I have, so like it's perfect. But he and I and Mitch were dancing our butts off, going crazy for Louis the Child and Grizz. But I will say even Zed opened, even though he's the biggest artist of the three for sure. Mm-hmm. And his set was awesome. I got to look back on some video I had taken and really enjoyed it. But then day 2 was, of course, RL Grime opening for Odessa, the biggest like night of a regular show probably, like as far as like back-to-backs. This Jawbreaker lineup was just insane. It was stacked.
Well, it's funny that you say that Grizz is like small, because I've actually like listened to multiple like Grizz albums front to back, and like there's like I've never listened to a Zed's Dead album.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
So Zed and Zed's Dead are two different artists.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So Zed's Dead is pretty big, but Zed is like on the radio, ZEDD, and he's like. He has a song with Haley Williams. That's his biggest song. He has that Clarity song.
Oh, I don't know.
Shane and
you
I's
would
first
know
dance
it for sure.
For sure.
Shane and I's first dance was like an acoustic Zed song.
Oh, okay.
The Clarity?
Huh? No.
Okay, I was gonna say I didn't think it was Clarity because that's Lydia and I's song. So that would have been kind of okay. But anyway, Grizz is huge. Grizz is a headliner.
Okay,
he headlined 515 Alive. He headlined.
Well, because I was gonna say don't they do something with like Big Gigantic? It's like Grizz Gigantic.
Big Grizzmatic which is Grubmatic, Grizz, and Big G.
Yeah, there's like several versions of that.
No, yeah, they have had a few different collabs over the years.
For sure.
Big Grubmatic is the thing, and Big Grizz.
Big Grizz. Swinging that Big Grizz all over the place.
Big Grizzly.
But so RL Grimes' set was, I would say, top 3 best sets of all time. I've seen him 7 or 8 times. He's Lydia's favorite artist, one of mine for sure. Top 3 favorite EDM electronic artists, and he just played 30 to 35 of his own songs. Okay. And it was he's the king of mix-ups, mashups, I should say. Like him and Skrillex, I would say, and I'm not just saying that because I love both of them, but it's like legit. Like they're both really well known for being able to put a song that has the same tempo or same beat with another rap song or something else similar, and just stack. It was just nonstop. I kept going, and I was tipsy. I wasn't really like. On Saturday night or Sunday night, I was recovering still from Saturday, really. I was getting there, I was having fun, dancing still, but and that's the thing, like, if you go into it and you're not drinking a ton, you do remember and enjoy it a lot more, like the memories, but
that's true. And that's kind of where I was at.
So that's the thing with drinking for me. Is like, so when you're drinking, like the memories are way more drastic and intense and awesome, but then when you're like not drinking, you remember a bunch of like not as crazy shit. You know what I mean? Because you're not in the shit as much. You know what I mean? But
yeah. So his set was insane. He played so much off Nova. He played, it seemed like every song off Nova.
I was gonna ask, because I feel like everybody's we were like hyping up it for like his Halloween mix that just came out. So I didn't know if it was gonna be more. He along opened the lines up of
with like that, and he like really did play a ton of the Halloween mix type stuff. Right. But
because those Halloween mixes are good. He actually this last year was a good mix up of a lot of his own original songs, plus a lot of like hip hop and rap.
What do you think about his Halloween 7?
I liked it a lot, actually. Did you?
I thought 2015 is still my favorite, and that's the one that opens up with Stranger Things, the opening of Stranger Things season 1. Like
that came out in 2015.
That one did, yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my God!
Stranger Things, yeah.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so he did play a ton from his Halloween mix. The lights were great. He had the Nova, and I don't know if he had this when we had seen him about a year ago, almost to the day. Well, we saw him twice about a year ago, almost to the day, really, because we saw him at Voodoo, which I don't remember his light show or backdrops at all, as like screens. And then when we did see him in Minneapolis a few weeks later, so I guess here coming up a year ago, I don't remember him having the same stuff either. So this is all new, like, stuff for his Nova album, because I don't remember him having the same like backdrops. Like, it was really cool. It was like we were like, it had an airplane view over like fields or over like a whole bunch of like just landscapes. It was awesome. I really loved it. So yeah, RL Grime was straight murdered, and then of course Odessa played pretty close to an Odessa show I've seen, I would say.
Sure.
It wasn't much different, but I still love that band. I mean, those guys are two of my. That is in my top 3. Both of them are for EDM acts. So yeah, Halloween was tight. I'm glad it's over, kind of, because I do love like October, November, December are my my favorite stretch of months, because I just absolutely love the holidays. I love
fall into winter is awesome for me. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But let's get into some other stuff. Trey, you didn't do anything for Halloween, did you?
My birthday, that was pretty much
okay.
It. Like, I didn't get a costume or anything this year. Like, we were like, my birthday's too close to that shit. And Gail's, like, doing clinicals and shit. So we were just pretty much saving money, harvesting beers for my birthday.
Harvesting?
Like, you know, like, that's pretty much it.
Get all those zombie beers left over at your place.
Dude. We have so it was like dirty 30s for 30.
yeah.
I have 30 of Natty Ice in my garage because there's not enough room in my fridge, because there's still like probably another like 60 other shitty beers jammed in my fucking fridge.
Yeah, all right. Party at Trey's house.
Episode 92, really. We did Happy Birthday Trey right before his birthday party. It was tons of fun. So check that out along with all of our other shows. Speaking of other shows, segue. We've got
Gamescast.
Trey, talk about it. Talk about that.
We just started doing a new video game podcast, me and Sean, with rotating guests. I'm trying to get Nick's going to be on here soon if he wants to. We're streaming it live on my Twitch channel or whatever.
Twitch.tv/TotallyTrey. Every week you're streaming there. New games, interesting games. You are no longer a Fortnite-only streamer.
I'm honestly probably going back to Fortnite.
Okay.
Like, because
you're on the Totally Gamescast.
You're really good at Fortnite, so like it's fun to watch a good player, right?
The problem, it's just like a weird duality. So switching games every week and like every day even, like you never build a loyal audience, right. You know? Like you have people that are there for the game a lot of times, and there will be people that stick around, but most of the time they're just like there for the one game. And if you kind of like sit on one game that's like good to grind on, you'll grow. But like the way I'm doing it, I'm losing a person every day because I'm like switching games.
Yeah.
And Fortnite's probably the worst game to stream, but it's my favorite game, so it's like I'm making the best content when I'm playing that game.
Probably not the worst. I could think of 100,000 other worse games, right? Like games that have 0 watchers.
I think those would be better.
Really?
Yeah, because like there will be people that are like, I'm so sick of Fortnite. I'm gonna scroll down to the very, very bottom, see if there's something interesting, new, like different going on.
But there's so many people that aren't sick of Fortnite, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. But the thing is, you're also fighting against 100 people that have 100 viewers above you. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you're definitely fighting. It's an uphill battle, but
yeah,
I just want to have fun with video games more than
for sure.
I want to grow the channel. So.
I was streaming yesterday for about 2 hours, and I streamed on Friday as well. Just turned on my on my Elgato.
Text me and I'll lurk in there.
No, but I'm not doing like that kind of stuff. I'm not gonna like talk with the chat. I just want to get some streams out there, and just so I have more of a feeling for it. So it's basically like a practice stream. It was like a nothing. Yeah. But I was playing Gears and just doing absolutely garbage. Then I'd have like an amazing game or two. So, but anyway, yeah. So getting back to Fortnite, but the Totally Gamescast.
Yeah, definitely. And we're giving game news and just game discussion. And we have an episode up on my Twitch, up on the EZPZ YouTube.
Yep.
Is that where it's at?
And the Facebook.
And the Facebook. That's where we're getting the traction, is the Facebook. So definitely check out EZPZ on Facebook. But that's probably where you're listening to this shit. So
yeah, for sure. A lot of listeners on there, at least for a few minutes here and there.
So I was just going to say, I was watching while I was playing some Bindings of Isaac, which is a game you recommended.
Yeah. How are you liking it?
I suck ass.
It's a hard game, but you get there.
I'm getting there slowly. I had to watch a few YouTube tutorials because like there's so much shit I was missing. Like just like hitting the rocks with the X's. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Missed that. And
I don't even do that.
And the secret rooms.
Yeah.
I knew since it was the same like play style as Zelda that there had to be secret rooms, but I was like, how do I find them?
Yeah.
And
you
then,
just
like,
have to find the like kind of C spots. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Anyway.
And I watched like one video that told me about it. I was like, fuck, I knew exactly that would have been it. But yeah, I watched it. I loved it. I loved the video style of how you like put in like the game clips of Red Dead at the end there.
Yeah.
I like the chat option, live chat. I don't know.
Yeah,
good.
no,
Like
we're
it.
getting there. We're just working on it one day at a time. My goal is every podcast add like one thing to make it better,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
if we do that every time by episode 100, we'll be killing it,
Yeah,
Like,
and plus
so-
giving us extra time to like, instead of this being like every week, every other week is really good to have. We build up some stories or build up some gaming experiences.
Yeah, especially since we don't have like the hugest amount of time to game,
Right.
Like, so
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I played 2 hours of Red Dead on Friday and 2 hours of Gears and then 2 hours of Gears yesterday, and that's all I've really played. I wanted to get Diablo 3 remaster or whatever it's called, Ultimate Edition on the Switch, which just came out on Friday, but I can't bring myself to spend $60
yeah, that
on a
game-
game that I'm not even playing, haven't even played Red Dead through, of course yet.
So I wouldn't even get that to begin with because it's a $60 game that came out a pretty long time
2014 or 13.
And Diablo 3 in general was like a pretty big disappointment to a lot of people just because it doesn't have a lot of like the heart and soul and the grittiness. It just felt like World of Warcraft kind of repackaged in an action RPG kind of way,
Yeah.
And that was like frustrating for a lot of people. But obviously people just walking into the series can probably just be like, this game kicks ass, but
I heard something on a podcast this week. I listened to a whole bunch of gaming podcasts, of course. Nintendo Voice Chat, IGN's Nintendo podcast, where they were talking about it, of course, because it just came out. And they were saying that it's really close to the Gauntlet series, more so than probably Diablo, which was kind of hurt some people's feelings. But I actually love the Gauntlet series, and I wish Midway was not dead in the water, or else we would probably have a new Gauntlet by now, because I love Gauntlet Dark Legacy on PlayStation
Gauntlet
2.
was really fun. That's interesting. I can kind of see that, except there's no time. Like, because Gauntlet was all about that time limit, This was more just like aimlessly grinding forever to get levels for your account, not even your character, because you hit the max level with your character really quickly. And then they have these like Paragon levels that I don't even know what the fuck they do. And it just like, it seems like an endless grind of like no value, because my problem with Diablo 3 in the first place was that they made you play the same game 3 times on 3 difficulties, and the game was really short, and the game came out in like mid 2000s, and it was way past the point that was acceptable for me, like,
Right.
Diablo 2, okay, came out in the late 90s. You can have the same game 3 times on 3 difficulties because that's how it was. Not in the mid 2000s. Fuck you,
Yeah.
Blizzard, like for real. But
Right.
anyways, it was an okay game.
Yeah. So I probably won't be getting it.
I wouldn't.
But I mean, yeah, it's one of those games that I can get my fix by just watching Twitch or watching it on Twitch, I think.
Yeah, honestly, because you're just killing mobs, no skill, like the whole time. Like, if you just want to see things die nonstop, you can watch it.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we have that to look forward to every other week. Wednesday nights live streaming on twitch.tv/totallytrey, and then Friday mornings uploaded to the EZPZ YouTube channel on Facebook, and hopefully in the near future uploaded to your favorite podcasting networks out there. Just won't use this, so. Next up on the docket, let's talk about, just briefly, because there's not much to say. It's just really annoying because we're seeing this here and there all over it's the political. I mean, we're supposed to be voting on by November 6th, if not on November 6th. So the political world is just in complete anarchy. That's really all that's taking up my Google News is political crap until I get to the For You section, which is just all games and music. But Trump used the Game of Thrones font likeness trademark really for winter is coming. He has sanctions are coming, and it's basically targeting, I think, this Iran deal that Obama era deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really ridiculous because he used like the font and whatnot, and like the picture that he posted. So we have it right here on the video screen in the studio, but it's just Look at that. Yeah. They obviously photoshopped his chin to make it look a little bit smaller.
To make out 3 or 4 of his chins.
Yeah, and they made his hand a little bit bigger in the corner here, for sure.
Yeah, no turkey gobbler on that one. So
yeah, right.
That's interesting, but.
So he's saying, and this is just completely aimed at the election day being November 6th, Tuesday, and it says November 5th underneath it. They're using just... HBO had a witty comeback saying, how do you say trademark misuse in Dothraki, which is like a language within the Game of Thrones series, for listeners playing at home that do not know that. So I just want to get you guys' thoughts on that, because he's well known throughout the 2016 presidential election, complete tour that he was doing throughout the whole country for using people's songs, and they were just super upset about that. He's not afraid to use people's art and anything really for his political gain. Right. What do you guys think?
So that's like a big thing in modern art and modern merchandising, is like just taking something else and rebranding it. I remember seeing a hardcore band who sold hats that was literally the Chicago Bulls logo turned upside down.
Oh my god.
And there was several hardcore bands that did that same thing. So like the Just Do It dunking MJ thing, upside down, selling merch as is. And so, and that's going on with lots and lots of merch. So like Pokemon, Rick and Morty crossover shit.
Oh yeah.
That's going on all over the internet. And I think it's pretty funny though that people, not funny I guess, but like interesting that the second Donald Trump does something like that they're on him, but no one really gives a shit about people profiting like hand over fist on someone else's like intellectual property when he's just making like a statement or something. I'm not a Trump fan, as I've said several times, but like I do think that people are like overly on his every move to the point where it kind of makes me doubt a lot of the negative things that are said about him in the first place.
Bad press is good press.
Yeah, because it's like, do I even believe all the shitstorm that's coming down on him day after day after day? You know, I don't know, but
yeah, no, that makes sense. The art thing is huge. A lot of the like indie artists that I follow, a lot of the lowbrow quote unquote artists that's all that they do. They sell merch based on The Simpsons, and like they're just like their own little like crossover things. I've said this before on the podcast, but like every year at the end of the year, they're like, "We made it another year without getting sued." Like,
it's dope. That's awesome that they know that,
because they totally know that they're just ripping off, and that's the only way they're getting money, is just because they're.
Well, okay, so when you're on the interstate and you got a convoy going where everyone's speeding, that's basically what the internet is right now with like the copyright infringement shit. It's like there's so many people making these like Pokemon ripoff shits. Like I think actually Pokemon in particular, Nintendo allowed people to sell Pokemon fan merch, but in like Simpsons definitely never did that. You know what I mean? But there's so many people doing it that they can never catch everybody.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, so no one knows about the little hardcore band that has 400 kids at a show, if not 100 kids at a show every night.
I made $2,000 in a night on merch. You know, it's like fuck exactly. Chicago Bulls, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Like
fly by night operation.
So that's the thing. He's just president of the United States, and he's doing it, and he just doesn't care. He walks all over people's. All the time. I mean, that's his MO.
Fair enough. I just don't think that that's enough. So with songs, I know that if you have the clip in your song is under a certain length, I think it's 10 seconds or 15 seconds, you don't have to give any credit for it. So that's why a lot of rappers have...
As long as you're not profiting on it, we could have a song in the podcast right now.
Yeah, totally. But like... So that's why rappers will put the 10-second clip loops in their beats, because they don't have to give any credit and it's easy profit. I don't know what the rule is for fonts, and I don't think that anything about that's really illegal.
Well, it's a trademark.
Yeah, they might have.
The whole font?
Yeah, like you can trademark fonts.
I just don't think that there's anything that unique. Like a line down the middle of the O isn't really that unique.
Right.
Like I don't think it's a unique enough font to really...
I think they were... it's just
because it's like Times New Roman with a line down the O.
Right.
Like it's
and it's just a likeness. It's not the actual saying either. So I guess I don't know how that.
I don't know.
Fuck Donald Trump.
Sure.
Fuck Donald Trump. Well, there's a lot of artists or casts out there that are saying things, including Sophie Turner and Macy Williams,
Well, because I would say if it really was infringing, wouldn't they just serve a cease and desist and that would be the end of it? But
well, I'm sure they're
just having kind of like a back and forth.
Well,
Twitter
I think
argument.
well, we don't know. In the background, there's probably something going on for sure. I mean, HBO's not going to just let this happen. I mean, they can't.
I bet they will.
So you think so?
Yeah, I don't think their font's very unique.
I guess the biggest thing that we're probably missing about this whole thing is that he's trying to make this whole sanctions on Iran thing like funny, like lighthearted deal. When it's really not. When it's really not. Well, and I think everybody's so pissed about this when they're not even thinking about what's actually happening.
Point, dude.
Right? Did you see the Iran president? He posted something too, saying, "I will stand up against you" or something. Same exact thing.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So this is getting wacky.
What the fuck?
Yeah, our world leaders are having meme wars instead of like.
Yeah, no. What is this fucking like YouTuber fights or fucking politicians? Shit, dude.
No kidding. Let's move on though, guys, to those Google walkouts. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but there was allegations towards lots of employees, dozens if not hundreds of employees throughout the last few years of Google employees specifically being sexually abusing or being sexually
misconduct.
Yeah, thank you. Towards other employees, and one in particular, the Android father, the father of the Android OS operating system for your phone, many people's phones. None of us in here, but many people's phones. Andy Rubin, he was accused of sexual misconduct to the point where I think he was asked to step down. And they paid him $90 million on his way out, and so. After that news came out of that by the New York Times just this last week, a couple weeks ago, Google employees across the world, New York, Dublin, Silicon Valley, Mountain View, all over, Singapore, 3,000 specifically in New York, hundreds in Dublin, and thousands in Silicon Valley. They organized this protest, walking out at 11 a.m. that local time for those specific areas, and yeah, there's tons of protests, pictures online, and basically the goal they're organized as hell. I mean, they're employees of Google, right? So they're organized as hell, and they actually have like a list of demands. And I mean, I'm actually pretty impressed. Within a couple of weeks, the fervor within the company has melted over or boiled over, really, because they have a list of demands, and so I'll go ahead and read them right now. An end to forced arbitration in cases of harassment and discrimination. Which, you guys know what forced arbitration is?
It would be them like forcing you to like settle, basically, to like end the lawsuit, just to like whether they're paying you or like just forcing you with like your job.
Yeah.
Telling you have to settle, outside of court.
Yeah, outside of court, exactly. Like arbitration means like the lawyers of each party, the defendant and the plaintiff, really are talking, discussing this, not with a judge present, really. Like they're in a back room, So yeah, thank you for that, Trey. A commitment to end pay and opportunity inequality, a publicly disclosed sexual harassment transparency report, a clear, uniform, globally inclusive process for reporting sexual misconduct safely and anonymously, which is duh. I mean, every company should have that. Elevate the chief diversity officer to answer directly to the CEO, make recommendations directly to the board of directors. In addition, appoint an employee representative to the board, that is number one. Like, so the diversity and inclusion, or I guess they call it just diversity officer, would be reporting to the CEO and then having the board's ear, which is in a gigantic company like this, that's super important to leverage. They could have done probably more damage to Andy Rubin here if they had the board's ear instead of them just being able to pay out that $90 million. So Sundar Pichai, am I saying that correctly?
I don't know the name.
Pichai, Google CEO, he encouraged all these employees to walk out. He encouraged these protests, and he stated the company would be taking active measures towards making these changes and these demands. And then Larry Page, the co-founder of Google and now the CEO of Alphabet, which is the mother company or father. What's the way to say that? Parent company.
Parent company.
The mother, the father, the parent.
I mean, that works. It's all the same.
The cousin.
Yeah, the parent company of Alphabet. So the parent company of Google. He's right there with everybody and also encouraging it, and states that there will be no actions taken to anybody that would walk out. So, I mean, there's not really too much to discuss here except for that $90 million to the Android father Andy Rubin. I mean, what in the heck?
That's
$90
insane.
million. There's a lot of really great images online that show, let's see, what people's like signs and whatnot. Let me see if I can pull it up here on the video screen for the homies to watch. But one of them includes, let me see. Okay, what do I do at Google? ? I work hard every day so that my company can pay $90 million to execs who sexually harass my coworkers.
Jesus.
So there's a lot of great signs out there. What do you guys think about this? Is Google taking the correct measures? What are we doing?
I mean, it sounds like they got like they're trying to get a human resource officer like on the board, which sounds
is
like
insane.
I don't even think that happens most of the time. Like, so I think at least the people pushing for this have their head in the right place, you know, and what more can they do?
Yeah. I think it's very well done. They're structured. They have a list of demands. You know, it's not just like we're going to get out of work for a day and make some signs. Like they actually had like a goal in mind.
I like the list of demands. It makes it sound so
awesome.
drastic.
No, but it's perfect.
like we got demands,
it's
and
clear.
we want a helicopter on the roof.
$1 billion in unmarked money.
Yeah, exactly. Demands.
Yeah. No, but I think it's awesome. I think a lot of people have good like intentions when they do protests like that, but then maybe it's not very well structured, or like they didn't have maybe a list of demands in mind. I don't know.
Yeah, like Occupy Wall Street or whatever, like wasn't a successful protest because it wasn't organized, and there was basically several different protests happening at once, and this one has a clear leader, has a clear goal, has things that have to happen for the protest to stop, and like that's what you want from
that's what
protest.
it should be.
That's a quality protest right there.
That's how
protest.
It's a high quality protest.
I would protest at that.
Oh yeah.
Another sign here reads, "Happy to quit for $90 million. No sexual harassment required." Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm pretty happy that a successful protest is taking place with the Me Too and Time's Up movements.
I mean, it's just kind of like the whole like sexual harassment thing with all these actors. You know, every time it was like an actor that you liked, you're like, oh fuck, not that guy.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh god damn it, Google too, like shit.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I had like a kind of a gut reaction, like, oh damn it. But
goddamn Google, shit, sexually harassing everybody. Damn it.
I mean, that kind of happened with me earlier this year with IGN.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you were saying Google sexually harassed you. I was like, oh damn, Sean, do tell.
They do harass me by putting this garbage political crap in my news feed.
Oh, dude.
I'm happy that I mean, obviously with Facebook going away with the news or top stories or trending topics or whatever on the right of your web page, not on mobile. It's harder to find on mobile, but I'm glad they did away with that. And then like I just jumped right over to Google though, and like I'm actually way more happier with Google because they have so much of my data. They know I love to like read about wrestling, not necessarily like watch wrestling, but I do keep up with like WWE and like the storylines. I just love it. I love watching the clips.
Dude, you're the only person in the world that reads WWF. Like,
hey man, it's real to me.
Yeah, never watches anything.
No, never watches. He just reads the
I do
documented.
No,
I'm just joking, dude.
No, but I just want to like kind of defend myself here. So Shawn Michaels came back for one match, and it was like a big deal, horrible thing, because he should not have come out of retirement, especially since he shaved his head. He looks really different and really old and sad. But he's still the best wrestler in the ring of the four that were in the ring, and he wrestled though like this one match first time in 8.5 years in Saudi Arabia at the Crown Jewel, and we all know the crap going on right now with Saudi Arabia with Khashoggi or whatever, the journalist that was a very big critic of Saudi Arabia and the whole regime over there, and the government was murdered in the Istanbul political.
Was that like the poisoning thing, or am I mixing that up?
They like pretty much tortured and dismembered him.
Okay, totally different one.
Yeah, and I mean they were obviously denying it, the Saudi Arabians, but there's the writings on the wall, and there's Turkeys even jumped in and said that that we have proof, or we're working on getting the proof. Anyway, then the whole thing was like happening while the WWE is trying to have an event over there. Right. An American company is trying to have an event over there, and it's just really they're getting tons of backlash for it because they had it that happened. The government didn't step in and say, hey, you guys can't have this, which is I was kind of surprised. I was expecting them to say you can't have this. Anyway, what I'm getting at is Shawn Michaels wrestled the first time in 8.5 years over there, and I read about it. There's tons of stuff. There's tons of articles out there because there's a whole bunch of botches, which is, in the wrestling lingo, that means like it's not real, right? In the sense that like when someone's supposed to be going to the top rope, jumping off, and crashing down on you because you're supposed to catch them. Yeah. The story's fun, like not. Like, they don't really hate each other. They like really love each other, and they're all brotherly love and whatever. But in the match, I was reading about all those botches where Shawn Michaels did a moonsault backwards on top of Kane and The Undertaker, and they didn't catch him at all. He just basically, like, a 53-year-old man crashed.
Flying through the air.
Man, I watched the video like 18 times. I was like, what a bummer. Like, such a big botch. He has, like, broke his nose open from it.
Dang.
Ouch.
So I was reading about that. I was reading about and watching the match. And in the match, Triple H too. And we're getting on a wrestling tangent, but Triple H, who Shawn Michaels' partner, was tag team match between Shawn Michaels, Triple H, D-Generation X versus the Brothers of Destruction, Kane and The Undertaker. Trey's over here like laughing, but Triple H tore his pectoral muscle, his right pectoral muscle, so he's probably going to be out for WrestleMania. Man. So yeah, I'm like watching and keeping up with all this stuff.
This reminds me of like Greek god shit. It's like this
time
that Hercules did the sick double barrel flip off of the ropes. And
it's the longest running drama in TV history.
Yeah. Raw is the longest running show, weekly show in TV history by like hundreds of episodes. They just
I thought that Simpsons beat that.
No, Simpsons not weekly. Like it's seasonal. Okay, Simpsons is the longest running seasonal show, and honestly, South Park's catching up. Not catching up because they're both going at the same time, but I could see South Park. I don't know. I could see
maybe
them doing
surpassing.
That. Yeah, at some point.
But I think that Trey Parker and Matt Stone have too much pride, and they'll cut it before the Simpsons cut it.
Like, before it gets too
because the Simpsons is dog shit now, like absolute dog shit.
Yeah, and I've never been a fan.
I was a huge
But it's just, dude, it has I never could get into it. I just never had like a friend group that specifically liked it or anything. Like it was
like I didn't have friends. I mean, my friends.
I didn't have friends. You can stop there.
That was like right before dinner every day.
Right.
Me and my brother and sisters, we would be like on it. Yep. Like I didn't have someone telling me like Simpsons is tight. And what's weird about that show is it's like super adult.
Oh yeah.
Like, anyways,
well,
sorry,
that's
we just went from one tangent to another.
Didn't you say that's what we gotta do? Rewatching the series.
Yeah. I was rewatching it.
That's a good idea. I want to rewatch it now.
Yeah,
when I'm
if
a
you
little
want to
bit
borrow
older,
the
and
DVDs, you can borrow them. Dude.
Maybe understand some of that like stuff I missed.
Yeah, the first episode of the show is so Homer didn't get his bonus from the power plant, so he can't buy Christmas presents for anybody because he was planning on doing that. But he does have enough money to take some money to the dog tracks.
Oh my god!
So he puts all of the Christmas money on the dog, loses, and then like brings home the dog that got kicked out of the dog track as the present.
Oh, is that how Santa's Little Helper became a thing?
Yeah. That's the first episode of like not the pilot, but like the first episode, and like it's really a fucking heavy episode, dude. Yeah. Like, and you don't think about that when you're a kid and you're just wanting to see Bart Simpson get strangled.
Right, yeah.
Like,
damn.
I mean, I'm not a hater on The Simpsons like I'm a hater on other things that people enjoy. Of course, if you're going to... I'm not. I just don't. I've never just gotten into it. It's not ever been a priority. It's not like it's on Netflix right now for me to watch.
I don't think they will because I bought the DVDs a couple months ago, and this is 2018 and they sold the DVDs in like late 90s.
Right.
Like, I think they'll keep selling them forever and never put it on that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like you said, maybe they have probably a little too much pride to be able to put. That's a lot to put on a streaming site too, though.
Well, it's just so much money the way it is.
It's probably on Hulu. Hulu has Fox stuff.
It has new episodes.
Okay.
So you can only watch like the current season.
Gotcha.
Which is.
But I can watch like people uploading matches to Twitter. So that's what I did. I just searched Shawn Michaels on Twitter, and you can see a bunch of bootleg like uploads of like that match or like clips of that match, which is all I really care about.
And one more thing on the news thing, because I have a few buddies at work that are still super into it, and then we'll like chat about it. So that's kind of how I get my wrestling news too. But there's like the Roman Reigns thing recently where he like
so sad, yeah. So the top dog, the top guy right now, he had the Universal Championship. I'm explaining this for Trey and the layman out there, the listeners, the Lemonhead laymans out there for wrestling. But he is like pretty hated by the like hardcore fans, but he's loved by like the rest of the WWE universe. Mm-hmm. So like kids love him because he's like reminds them he's like just
kind of like John Cena.
yeah, exactly. Like he's supposed to be like the next John Cena, which is like something that's super popular for the kids, but all the adults are like, I'm too good for this. I'm like the Attitude Era.
He's not that good at wrestling. Technically,
he's not.
So we're gonna go back to the Undertaker. Technically, is a fabulous wrestler, and everyone should have continued in the stylings of Undertaker. Yeah, I know.
It's still real to me, damn it.
I call them marks because they're like just a mark, like a dude named Mark that's just like in the back corner, always just upset about everything.
I know they call him a mark because they're targeted. Like, so a mark in like a scam is the person you're targeting because they're marked, because of something that they do that makes them dumb.
Oh, so, I've always thought it was because like the first name Mark is just like
no,
like Chad. It's like a shitty name.
See, I'm thinking that they mean that they're marks because they're easy to please and they know what they want.
How about while I'm explaining this, you get on Google and you can look this up for us.
Okay.
Live on the show, EZPZ Podcast every week.
So exactly what am I looking up? Like marks in wrestling?
What does the slang mark mean in WWE?
Okay.
Something like that. So while you're looking that up, I can explain. What was I explaining? Oh, yeah. The Roman Reigns issue. Like, so he comes out and, like, I just saw this crazy gif this week where he's, like, from his announcement where he's just, like, sitting there, like, everyone's booing him because everyone in the stadium hates him, but everyone watching at home, like, the kids love him, like I said. But he's just, like, looking around, getting all those boos and taking it in and just, like, smiles because he, like, you still, if you're getting heat, or you're getting love, like you still That's whatever you getting a reaction, which is what is important.
Okay.
Hold up.
Oh, sorry.
No, let's talk about this announcement though. So he comes out and he relinquishes the World Wrestling Entertainment Universal Championship because he has leukemia in real life. Oh. Got re-diagnosed, like he came back.
Ugh. Yeah, that one comes back. Leukemia has like a huge % chance of like recurring.
Well,
I wish it was that. A lot of people didn't know at first if it was like
no one in the backstage, no one in the locker room like knew about it. No other wrestlers knew he was about to do this.
Just part of the show, or if they were.
Damn.
So it's real life shit. Yeah.
That's beast.
So Mark, let's get this definition, Trey.
Mark, a slang term that they don't really differentiate our definitions really. A slang term that describes a fan who believes that the character and events of some or all professional wrestling are real.
Yeah.
The term can be applied to a fan who idolizes a particular wrestler, promotion, or style of wrestling to a point some might consider excessive.
Yeah.
Compare smark and mid-carder. I don't know. So those are other wrestling terms that they would say to compare it to.
Okay, so a mid-carder is somebody like Dolph Ziggler who doesn't get the championships, but he might get the Intercontinental Championship, but he's not getting like the main belt.
So people are obsessed with him
because he is amazing at wrestling. Daniel Bryan's another. They're actually like when it comes to like technically their moveset, what they do, their risk factors, they're jumping off this, that, the other. They're taking huge bumps, meaning they're going through announcement tables all the time. Those are like probably mid-carders like the two I just mentioned.
So, okay, I kind of get it now. So like kind of like A, B, and C list celebrities, sort of.
Yeah, so they have like the tiers. The marks are fans of the mid-card people because they're like more like specialized or something, or like they're more niche,
better wrestlers, but they're not
as popular.
They don't get like the heat or they don't get the reaction from the crowd, so they're not going to get put above the like Roman Reigns or John Cena, who has like 6 moves. Like he doesn't actually. He's actually a really good wrestler.
Goldust is a mid-card, big time.
Yeah, Goldust was humongous. Like
he was popular.
He was so popular in the Attitude Era because he was all about the sexual like craziness.
He was like the Dennis Rodman of fucking pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But actually, Dennis Rodman ended up becoming a pro wrestler, so I don't even know what I'm saying.
Yeah, for like not very long. But he just made like showings and did like crappy moves or whatever. But Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
He
I
can
love
dunk from the free throw line. He doesn't have to be able to do a suplex. Right.
Yeah, I'm glad we kind of brought up wrestling because it is important to think about this. Like the WWE just last year was the first year of this 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia for $500 million. And so how is this going to, depending on how this I know I'm saying the name incorrect for listeners playing at home, but Khashoggi or whatever, depending on how that plays out, that journalist that was murdered, I mean, man, how is this going to work out for that deal, that $500 million deal? But I mean, I am always going to be a huge fan of the wrestling scene just because I think it's just a really great outlet for a lot of young kids and whatnot. It's a drama that is okay for kids to like watch. So you can get these storylines. And for me, creatively and growing up, it was a good outlet to like. Every Monday I had structure. Every Monday I would watch wrestling, and I could get really invested in these storylines and whatnot. It was just
See, personally for me, if I had a kid, I would let them watch The Simpsons before I'd let them watch wrestling, because like the characters in WWE and stuff are like naturally kind of white trash and kind of like dumb violent people, and like I know that's the characters and they're not necessarily dumb violent people in real life. But that would be like one of the things that I would keep them as far away from as I could, is that dumb macho attitude. You know, it's like, hey, I'm going to come out there and tear your head off. And like, I would just want to keep them as far away from that shit as I could. You know?
I hear you, but those are heels. Those are bad guys. Like, and that's what they're saying. These are bad guys that are coming out and saying, I'm going to kick your butt. But then
isn't like still like the big guys? Aren't they still like, I'm not gonna let you talk to me that way. I'm gonna kick your ass.
But they're still fighting.
Yeah. Of course, this is still fighting. Like, of course, there's kids all across America doing wrestling moves to their sisters, like I was breaking necks. And I mean, that happens. It's just that happens. But the good guys, the way that they're promoting, like the words that the announcers even use, down to like the very word choice for describing a baby face or a good guy instead of a heel, is meant to pretty much manipulate like the whole situation to make the baby face not come across as somebody that's just out to kick butt, but out to save the day. More so.
Was Stone Cold a heel then?
He was a humongous heel, but he was such a big heel, like the biggest heel of all time. He became a baby face. People love to watch him take names, kick ass take names, drink beer.
In like a scenario like that where like so many people love him, like my kid like becomes like, as a heel, becomes attached to Stone Cold, where he's like drinking 2 beers at once and just kicking ass. And
so this is
skulls and like what's that brand? Affliction shirts
Yeah.
and shit. Like,
disgusting.
That's the last thing I want.
Nautical
play
Star.
GTA, kid. Get away from this. Go play GTA. Like, don't watch this.
If you ever wore an Affliction shirt and had a Nautical Star tattoo out of nowhere, I would just have to defriend you off everything. I wouldn't be able to do the Totally Gamescast with you. I wouldn't be able to do.
I might have to just like experiment with some Nautical Star tattoos.
Yeah. I can make you guys a logo.
Oh god.
Star logo. Please do.
Face tat it like right here. But so here, going back on that. So this is completely. There's a lot of layers to this. That was the Attitude Era, which is when wrestling was PG-13 or above. So, like, they could get away with saying ass a lot more, or, like, even shit once, I think, on the air every week, stuff like that. And, like, mooning. There's a night where Shawn Michaels mooned on the Titantron. He mooned whoever was in the ring. I think it was Bret Hart. He just mooned him. Like, what the heck? I remember seeing that as a kid, and that was actually when my parents said no more wrestling.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, dude. But, so, that was the Attitude Era, and, like, the rest, and to become what it is today, the WWE, to become as big as it is, they went to PG. So now, like, they don't have that kind of stuff. There's never going to ever be a Stone Cold Steve Austin again. There just will never be. Like, the closest to it right now, I don't even think there's anyone remotely close to, like, the badass Texan. There's no one even close. There won't be ever, because they're in the PG era and they're never going to leave it because they're so much bigger.
Yeah.
They're humongous compared to.
Yeah, that's what everything's going to. Like Ninja, he used to be a rated R streamer, and he would like kill somebody in a game and be like, "Fuck you, kid! Like, go! I'm gonna go fuck your mom!" And shit. Now he's just like, and to grow his channel, he's just like all no cussing, and
super
I've
PG.
seen several clips where he will be like streaming with another streamer and they'll cuss and he'll get like mad at them and like kick them and shit. And, like,
wow.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Everything's going more PG, and that's something where kids are watching it a lot. So if that's your biggest fan base and the parents aren't gonna like it, then you got to kind of play to your audience a little bit.
So I think Trey, you had a great point to that with the Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, in the Attitude Era, like they know that like there's kids out there that were taking that and like running with it and becoming like and making a homemade vest and wearing it around school and like smoking cigarettes and drinking beer.
Dude, the kids I knew that watched it were like kind of like they were like hardcore fans that were wearing like Stone Cold shirts. We're trash.
Yeah, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I know of a kid in particular that was one of my bullies that was wearing Stone Cold stuff,
gosh.
and I would wear Shawn Michaels stuff, which is D-Generation X, like "Suck It." That's from Shawn Michaels, Triple H.
No shit.
Yeah,
Suck
dude.
It?
Suck It. That's but it's the X. You have to do the X.
Okay, I always went like this because you would take the girl's head and.
Well, that's different. They're more telling other men to suck it, but yeah. So they recognize that, and they're trying to be more. They are way more kid friendly. Like even like, I can't even think of anyone that's insanely aggressive like on the mic to the point where it's like, whoa, like a kid watching this, it would be bad nowadays. They're just too protective of their audience because what these people are understanding, and what honestly every business out there is understanding, is even down to companies that we work for, Nick. Mm-hmm. They're going for the younger people because that's a lifetime customer. That's a lifetime watcher, viewer. Going to Ninja. If someone's 8 years old, they have the nostalgia factor is so intense right now for us 90s kids. Mm-hmm. That's why we're seeing all these 90s things coming out. They're making so much more money off of us, of our generation.
Well, yeah, you shoot for like the old kids, but you're shooting for the parents of the kids.
Exactly.
Because the parent still has to buy the toy. You know?
Right.
So the nostalgia factor is like a real thing right now, though. They're repackaging everything.
Right. Dude, it's
working though. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, Halloween.
I love all this shit, man. Like I try not to go to. And stuff, but there's exceptions, obviously.
I like seeing all that shit. Yeah, I don't consume too much of it, but
yeah.
Did you see just Halloween though?
I want to go see that. I want to see Suspiria. Let's talk about some movies real quick, though, or like things we want to see or watch or play, or real quick.
Shane and I did go see Halloween. It's last Monday. We both had the day off. We just went and saw it. It was really good.
Yeah, I heard
that. Is that the third revamp?
So it's not a remake, right, Nick?
So technically, it's a direct sequel to the very first one.
Yeah. That's amazing. I love it. I love the storyline. So basically, have you seen Halloween 1?
I couldn't even tell you at this point.
There's a woman, the lead actress, Laurie
Strode.
Yeah, she is getting like hunted kind of, and like all her friends and family. I just rewatched it because Nick let us borrow it, by this serial killer psycho that breaks out of a psych ward, right? And this movie now is 40 years later, because it's literally 40 years ago to the day, or to the year 1978 to 2018.
The October 31st.
He's coming back for her. She has lived her whole life 40 years now later with this horrible thing where like he had just hunted all of her friends, killed everybody, and almost killed her multiple times. And she's just like building a fortress to, like, and she's like learning how to shoot and kill and waiting for him, like, come on, I know he's coming eventually. And she's gone through her whole life trying to defend her, do what she can to protect herself. It's just crazy good, right? Like storyline idea.
Oh no, it was actually a very well done sequel, I think. Just like all around, it was really good. And horror movies are not like unknown for doing this thing where they just like scrap every shitty, like, you know, because they have like 7 of those movies and they're all just terrible, just money makers, you know, trying to build off of
they make like in this storyline of the Halloween, it's 1978's movie and this movie, that's it. All the ones in between, all that is no longer canon to this exact
never
story
happened
arc. Love it. I thought it was great. I want to see that for sure. But yeah, we're not in Halloween season anymore, but I still want to see some of these horror movies like Suspiria. Tom York, lead singer of Radiohead, did the entire score for the movie. And that's actually one of the few albums I've been listening to lately. I've not really been able to listen to much music. I'm kind of like, all this EDM, great EDMs got me out of this music loop. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff. What about, have you been listening to any music or wanting to go see?
I checked out the new Story So Far album. That was like,
I
really
love
good.
it.
I loved that album.
Proper Dose came out in September. Really loved it. I think a band like Story So Far, huge criticism of them is like their live performance was never anything I was too like super down on. Because you saw him, right?
I've seen him several times. I think that they're great live.
He just sits behind the mic though. Like for a punk band, you want them to be at high energy, jumping around.
Every time I've seen it, it's been like a hardcore show where there's pile-ons the whole time, and he just like holds the mic on the pile-on.
Right. Yeah. The crowd is always super jazzed.
If you do that for 2 or 3 songs, that's cool. But like he usually will just do that for a couple of songs. From times I've seen him, then get behind the mic and just hold it.
The time I saw
4 Years Strong at Woolies. Yeah,
I thought that was a great show.
It was fun.
I think they sound amazing.
That's the thing. So that's what I'm getting at. So they're moving away, obviously, with Proper Dose, away from punk and more to indie alternative. It's 100% apparent, except for a few select tracks.
I think that they know right where their niche is and right, like, so there's this thing about like music where people think that a band is growing up when they release a boring album, you know what I mean? Like,
what do you mean?
So like a lot of bands like Turnover and shit like that.
Pianos Become Teeth.
What's that?
Pianos Become
I
Teeth.
haven't really listened to them.
But they were hardcore rough vocals, and now they're only like alternative and like soft.
They'll like a lot of people will say like, oh no, it's not a boring album, it's just a more mature album, which I don't agree with that sentiment at all. And I think that they found like a nice balance of like kind of finding a balance in their music instead of being like dial all the way punk, you know, they kind of dialed it back, found where their audience is better.
Because their audience is growing up. We're growing up. I don't necessarily love every punk album like I used to a few years ago, even like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
I don't like any punk albums that come out, but like fucking all I'm saying is that they like just dialed their sound back a little bit instead of being so extreme and like abrasive all the time. They're like, okay, we can make fucking music that can be on the radio and we can still yell in the songs, you know, because there's a few songs that he has the same yell, but there's also some songs that he's singing on.
Straight up singing, 100%. Sounds really good too.
And they have harmonies with like the second singer that wasn't in previous albums or not as much that I noticed, you know, and I thought it was like really cool. And they still like their guitars still have that like really choppy, unique sound to them. You know what I'm talking about?
That it definitely sounds like them, you know, they have that, I don't even know.
It's kind of like a chuggy, choppy sound with their guitars, their rhythm guitars, and like they did not drop that in like the way that bands like Turnover kind of dropped that more abrasive sound. Anyway, so
I love it. Yeah, it's gonna be in my top 10 albums of the year probably, which is we all have to look forward to our album and podcast of the year pretty much. We'll recap all our favorite stuff, of course, in January. But
so hold on, 2 months from now. So this is November. So November, December. So pretty much episode 100 is going to be coming up right near that. So we should just do that for episode 100. It's podcast of the year. And time it or something.
That'd be tight.
That's off.
Off stream we can discuss that or off the pod. But yeah, that sounds pretty tight. You can find the EZPZ at the EZPZ. You can find on everything. Just Google it for the YouTube channel. Now we have 3 shows. I have EZPZ Plays coming out with. I might be posting a Gears of War like best of like clip, 15-minute clip or something, or of all my like headshots and whatnot. I got like 3 kills like back to back, like 3 on 1, and I killed like all 3 yesterday. I was like freaking out. It's tight. But you can see those on the YouTube channel, and I'll be posting those to Facebook. And then you can find me at Sean S. Johnson on everything. Follow, send me messages if you want to have a topic on the podcast, whatnot. Trey, where can they find you?
Totally Trey at twitch.tv, and that's the big one right now that I'm focusing on. I'm on Instagram, totally.trey, and Twitter. My Twitter presence and my Instagram presence are kind of whack. I'm like realizing
you're super on Twitter. I thought I feel like
recently I'm like trying to like actually post funny shit instead of dumb shit.
Can you explain this titty picture to me, please?
Oh my god.
Trey is now a titty streamer, everybody, taking donations.
I was just back and forthing with one of my viewers one time, and like I don't know if my buddy Van Wedge came up with the idea or if I came up with the idea, but like we're like, how funny would it be if I just had tits? And like,
oh my god!
tosses me a $10 donate. He's like, this goes to the titty commission.
To the titty committee.
And like,
to
I
the
ended
titty
up
committee.
like just doing a little research, like what can I get? So
What
then
can I
like,
get?
went on Etsy and like talked to this lady, and she's like $40 for a full drawing. You know, I'm like,
Oh my god.
fuck it, dude. Like
That's
like
great.
permanent branding shit. And then I also got that gift from Katie of like the headshot drawing.
Yeah.
Gail was like, your social media is all you as a cartoon character, and everyone's gonna think you're a weeb.
Yeah, no
I'm
kidding.
like, well, shit. I guess that's what I am now.
I
so
guess.
That's hilarious
it.
that you got that and you went out and paid for that. That's
That's
awesome.
Dude,
awesome.
you got to, man. You got to, man. So
It's great.
I could have either spent that on another game or spent that on the funniest shit that I can ever have on my
I mean,
Facebook ever.
It's pretty epic.
It's pretty
love
insane. Love it. Nick, where can they find you?
Just Instagram, bazooka_Nick.
Well, how was
about it.
Drawloween? I wanted to talk to you about Drawloween. Dang it.
Yeah. Jollywoon was good.
You killed it. You did every single day.
So I don't have the last 3 days posted. I have like the drawings. I just need to put
But
them
you
up.
are going to have every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I mean,
intense.
I did a couple cop outs. I combined a couple days here and there, but
That's not, I mean, there's some people online that do that.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's
No.
not even a big deal as long as it's like a pretty cool combination. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's cool. Good
Yeah.
job, man.
It was
Follow
good.
all my homies, all the homies. Thank you, listeners. This has been episode 93 of EZPZ Podcast, and we out.